were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sail into the mystic. Hark now, hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic.
Hello and welcome to the second season of 3. We are very, very excited to have Mike on board here as our guest, but we're going to get to him in a minute. I'm here with krisgray, our masterastrologer, Raineyday, our psychic medium, and me, I'm your intuitive tarot consultant. And here we are to do yet another fabulous episode of 3. Okay, big announcement. We are going to be doing a live show. Chris and Rainey and me are doing a live show at the Composer's Room on October 12th. This is a live show before the show. It starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on October 12th. It's a Saturday. So plan your trip to Vegas now and come see us live. That's announcement number 1. Number 2, the 8th annual Night of the Witches is October 30th, nightofthewitches.com. You'll get to also meet Chris and Rainey and me. We're all going to be there. And it raises money for a wonderful organization called Help of Southern Nevada. So I hope we see you there. Now we're going to be back after this commercial break with Mike.
Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We've worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here, we've had callbacks here, we've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space, chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
And we're back. I want to introduce you all to an amazing man. This is a local celebrity. His name is Mike Doria. Say hi to everybody, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. Mike Doria is an Emmy award-winning broadcaster. And not only has he done most of the outrageous skits here in Vegas, he used to work on Fox 5. He's doing a lot of independent things now, which is amazing. But I'm telling you, when people meet this man, they never forget this man. He is somebody that as soon as he's in your wheelhouse, and every time you run into him, you'll remember his name. You know him. You just know him because there's such an authenticity about this man. I am so pleased to introduce you to Mike Doria.
Thank you. I love that introduction. I'm going to take you with me wherever I go.
Okay. It sounds great. Well, so we have your chart in front of us. Now, the way the program works is that if you have a specific question, we can address that. But we were talking before you got here. We would just like to dive into your vibe. Yeah. Okay, so which one of us would you like to hit you first?
Well, I thought about this in the way. I feel like you might make me cry today. I don't know why.
Everybody says
I
know. Healing is a wonderful thing, my darling.
I know, so I want to kind of not save the best for last. Not mean like that. But like you're kind of like my go-to. So I want to start with you because I'm intrigued about this chart that you made that I wasn't.
Have you ever had your chart done?
Myself, I did it, but like I don't know how to read it necessarily, and I don't know. So I just rather have somebody else look at it for like what I might be missing. You know what I mean? Okay,
well we can't wait, so we're gonna be quiet. It's 11:11 right now on the clock.
Great time to start.
Okay, so yes, Sun Pisces, and your rising is Aquarius, and so what that means is that you're ruled by Uranus, and so Uranus can create this kind of eccentric energy. So you kind of give that shock factor to people when you meet them, and they don't really know quite what to expect, and it's kind of like that shock kind of wow factor. But one thing that sticks out at your chart the most, and I'm going to start there, is your first house, and your first house is self. So this is what people see when they first meet you, like their energy, their first impression of you, like who you are at your core. And your first house is like twice the size of normal. Okay. And you have what is called a stellium in your first house. So a stellium is, I go by 3 or more placements, and it's 3 or more placements in one area of your chart. And so what it does is it amplifies that energy. So you have this very impactful personality. Like, you have a very strong presence. So when you walk in the room, people notice you. Like, they know who you are. But what I love so much about this is that you have this, your moon that is right on your AC, and your AC is the very, very beginning degree of your chart. And so this tells me that you're very instinctual. So go with your first gut. Like, you read people so well. And it's actually somewhere else in your chart, and I'm going to touch on that too. But you're, when you walk into like an environment or people, you get like this kind of gut instinct, and always go with your first gut instinct because it's always correct. You're very instinctual. Also, you have Venus, and Venus rules love, money, beauty, charm. So Libra is ruled by Venus. So you're very much Libran, and that's a part of your first house as well. And so you're very like charming, easygoing, diplomatic. You have this soft way of kind of like communicating with people, and they find you, people are like drawn to you because of that, because you're just really kind of easygoing and charming. And then you also have your Mercury, which is the planet of communication. So it rules not only the gift of gab for you, it's very prominent in your chart, but also for the way that you process information and data. So you're very quick, very bright, very witty, like just the gift of gab. And so people automatically recognize this about you. There is also your sun, and your sun is, when it falls in your first house, it means that you're a natural leader. So you're someone who like paves the way for others, kind of like shines the path on that. But it's kind of further down in your first chart. So it's telling me that your instincts are more prominent, though your easygoing nature is more prominent. But I'm going to jump over to this other big one. Okay, so you have, the 8th house in astrology is naturally ruled by Pluto. So your Pluto placement is in your 8th house. So there's actually a lot of Scorpio to you. And you're a reader of people, and I mean like not just instinctual, because you have that, but you have the ability to dive really deep into their psyche and really understand the psychology behind people. And it's a gift that if you were to do hypnosis or any kind of healing modalities or anything in the metaphysical, oh my gosh, like you're so incredibly insightful about people and situations. And also there's something that I was picking up, that you attract unusual or paranormal experiences. You've probably had like a lot of paranormal experiences, and especially probably here recently in the last maybe year and a half, maybe 2 years, it's probably kicked up quite a bit. So you're kind of like this bright light as it comes, like in the spirit world, they're attracted to you. So it's almost like you're a portal for spirits. It's like in the dark world of the spirit world, you're this big bright light and they're attracted to you. So you probably have a lot of paranormal experiences that are kind of just around you, or unusual coincidences and things like that.
Well, I would say that more than, I mean, all the time. I mean, it's almost, and it sounds weird, but almost daily. Maybe I see the signs, or just I mean, to be more in tune with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to a point sometimes where it's scary, because you don't know like what's, that's not what's real and what's fake, but like you can see some of the negative too and the positive, and that scares me, because I'm like, I don't want to attract that, but it's there, and I'm like, well, maybe I don't know why.
I'm gonna make a recommendation for you, and I wear it myself. Bloodstone. It's a really protective crystal. And so not only does it protect from any kind of attachments or entities, because that is, I'll be honest with you, that's something that can be the challenge to this placement, is that you can easily get attachments. Mm-hmm. But the good thing is because you have this deep understanding of it, you're able to recognize it and release it. So I'm going to recommend some bloodstone for you. And then also I do what is like just a daily, sometimes I do it multiple times a day, but it's just kind of like a release mantra where I intentionally release any kind of psychic energy that I've picked up, just remnants of going through my day. And I think that's going to be very helpful for you also because of that moon in your first house, because that's what you're picking up. It's almost like you're an empath. You're like picking up energy. So it's good to do like a release, but bloodstone and just kind of like a daily release of the remnants that you pick up on a day to day.
There's just, so I do like tarot cards. I have the psychic ability. I don't necessarily know how to turn it on or off. It just kind of happens or it doesn't. But there is, I don't want to say the place necessarily, but there's one place in Vegas where I go there. It's like clockwork. I can feel the energy. I can feel, is that normal to have a one place be able
Welcome
to do
to our world.
All right.
So
It's a bar, but I mean, just
Then I'm probably there.
And is there a favorite machine at
no,
that?
no,
Right.
yeah, it's karaoke. But I'm telling you, I walk in there, I'm like, it's on right now. There's also a grocery store where this happens, but I'm like, it's so bizarre that these two places is like more than any other place. But
I'm going to tell you why.
all right.
And I don't have your chart in front of me, but there's something called astrocartography, which I do. It's what it is basically your birth chart, your natal chart laid over like the map of the world. Okay. And there's so many lines and aspects. And in that chart, in the astrocartography chart, I can tell you which are going to be where you're going to experience these type of experiences the most. And so usually they're kind of like a
ley line.
vertical. It's basically like your own personal ley line. So I'd be interested to see if it's in your astrocartography chart of where that is. And so it's not going to be necessarily just that one place. It could be kind of like a connected line. So that actual building may just happen to be placed right on one of your lines like that. And so it would be connected to your 8th house because that's where it's the strongest with the paranormal and the psychic gift and being able to really dive in deep to people.
Can I ask 2 questions about his chart?
Yeah,
Number 1, you said he has, where's his Aquarius?
it's his rising.
Okay. So would you say that his Aquarius is the key to him detaching from bizarre psychic energy? In other words, because Aquarians can be very black and white. They can love you one moment and then they can be you're dead to them the next moment. So could that aspect actually help him? That's the first thing I want to ask. The second thing I want to ask is that when you go into vibe mode in an area, I get the feeling, and please see if it's in his chart, I get the feeling that you're supposed to meet somebody important when you get that feeling.
I have insight on that.
Okay.
When
cool.
it's my turn, I have specific insight on that.
Good.
Names.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Even better. Sometimes it's a lot of it, like where you walk into a room and there's like a lot. And sometimes I don't know where it's coming from. I'm
Yeah.
like somebody in here, but I
Welcome
don't
to
know who.
our world, my darling.
Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier that his first house of self is twice the size of
That sounds so egotistical.
Embrace the size, baby.
But the other side to that is that your 7th house of connections and partnerships and even friendships, but anything that's kind of meaningful and long term, it's enormous as well. It's like twice the size. So it feeds into like it's right next to some aspects that go into that Pluto placement. So you're going to meet a lot of important people. One is going to be in the entertainment world. It's connected to entertainment and to anything broadcasting, like anything Mercury. So broadcasting, publishing, anything where there's communication being dispersed or shared. So those are 2 big parts. So when you have these experiences, like maybe you have like a series of experiences that you have and like maybe for a couple days or something, and then it's right what Mona said, it's gonna be right around the time that you meet someone who's pivotal and like it's gonna be like a long-term connection for you.
And I have a name for you when it's my turn.
Go ahead.
No, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm right.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
This is weird. I don't know why I brought this shirt.
I love the smiley face.
And I have to move the angel.
Here,
Would
I'll
you mind
take
putting her
Yeah,
over there?
I'll hold her over.
Because you are this smile face. I mean, you have when people look at you and connect with you, you have the most gorgeous smile. The reason I had to move her is because from the moment you walked in here, was not a big man, but he has a big personality. He carries with him, and I'm hearing Edward gaily. Edward, but he's like, no, and he's always over here. Then they kept showing me like a day on the calendar. Then they kept pointing, no, Rainey, your last name. And then he told me, my name is Ned Day. Do you know that name?
Ned Day.
I want you to look up that name. I don't know who that is, but this person is very influential and has been telling me from the moment you came in, you need to be the person in front of the camera. And like you said, you're very metaphysical. You need to be a producer, and you need to start doing, you know how George Knapp, you know who that is.
Mhm.
You need to start doing more investigatory and more highlighting the metaphysical world all around us.
I'm sorry to
Go.
interrupt you, but Ned Day was an American journalist and newspaper.
Who's
reporter.
Edward? Who's Edward?
Edward Gately Day was a
Dun,
journalist.
dun.
And I wonder if he's supposed to actually write a screenplay where you play Edward Day.
He just feels like a
No,
big
there's his picture.
personality. So I see him older.
But it's actually Ned Day.
Oh, son of a bitch.
That's his name, Ned Day. There's something about that. that's
John's
gonna-
going crazy back there.
And he was a newspaper reporter. He was a journalist,
Yeah.
right?
But he
Yeah.
feels like he was more than that. So here's what they're telling
He
me.
died in 1987,
19.
September
Yeah.
3rd of 1987.
Coming up on the anniversary.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is your guide. I
Oh
want
my
you to.
God. He's on the other side for you.
Yes.
Sorry.
And he's saying, would you
Ooh.
just get busy? You are wasting time.
I mean, sure am. Probably.
And you know, like the Linda Moulton Howe, who does, she's like the person on cow mutilations and crop circles. You need to start doing things about like George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell on UFOs, UAPs, things in the water. You know, you go to these places. I want you to start filming. I want you to start talking about your experiences. You need to start not just the YouTube channel, because I see this going to TLC, History Channel, National Geographic. Are you getting chills? My butterflies are going to fly off my arm. Producer and in front of the camera. I want you to kind of pick George Knapp's brain. I want you to you talked about collaborations. If we can go into that just a little bit more. That's your niche. That's your gig. And they're telling me you're very visual, so you need to start mapping out a plan. I want you to expand into that kind of genre. Ned Day is I hear Edward. I don't know where Edward comes from.
No, that's his
but
real
I think
name.
that's his real
Yeah,
name.
his name is Edward Gately Day, but he went by Ned
There's
Day.
the Gailey. I heard Gailey. It's
Oh,
Gately.
yeah, you did say that.
He says, shit or get off the pot or something like that. He's just very frank, and he's like a come to Jesus kind of guy
Yeah,
for
because
you.
he's an Aries.
I'm
He
an
was-
Aries.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
gosh.
born on April 5th, 1945.
And he was known for taking on the mobsters here in Las Vegas.
Well, I mean, I can't do that. I mean, I gotta live, right?
No, but when it's my turn.
Modern
But
day
again,
mobsters.
you
When
know,
it-
go
when
to
it's
like
I'm,
we were
I'm
talking.
Italian too. I mean, it's my people.
They are your people. Like go to the Flamingo Hotel where Bugsy Siegel was. Ask to rent some of those
Italian American
rooms.
Cafe.
Hello.
This is gonna sound weird. So, do you guys been to the Mob Museum?
Yeah,
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
I haven't been.
I love the Mob Museum. I'm actually a supporter of the Mob Museum.
yeah.
So maybe that's your niche. Maybe that's your gig. But you need to start filming these. You need to start and then edit them from there.
So, when you say filming these, like doing what specifically?
So, for example-
what would one of the episodes or whatever look like?
So, for example, yesterday we went to the composer's room, the three of us, and Mona was filming Chris and I picking up on the things like you were talking about going to this bar and certain places you feel things. Start walking around and start just talking about what you're feeling, because so much information comes out of that. Chris kept saying, I feel like this is a wall. This was not here, and different things like that. And I feel that this is a sacred space. And I just pointed to a picture on the wall and I said, this is the man I keep seeing this gold car from. It was Liberace. Just start doing those kinds of things. The more you do it, and I there's a significant relationship. You talked about partnerships. George Knapp keeps coming up in my mind. we're your people, my friend. And that's why I wore the shirt, because you're just this smiley, wonderful, authentic. And when you talk about this, it's going to give people the feeling that you are an expert in this field, because you already know this. You were talking about your psychic abilities, and I don't know how to turn it on and off. How you do that is you just do it. You go out there and you put yourself out there, and the more you experience, the more you refine and hone in on your gifts. You're incredible. You're also a medium.
Mhm. There's
Okay.
you definitely have that ability. And so if you were to explore it, it's incredibly strong.
I mean, I talk to myself a lot. Now you want me to talk to the dead people?
But maybe you're not talking to yourself.
Oh, well, I mean,
Maybe you're talking to your higher self, which is
Maybe
your
it's
soul
Ned.
kind of guiding
Maybe it is
through you.
Ned.
It could
Maybe
be.
it is Ned.
It could be.
that's interesting.
Go.
No, I'll wait. But
Okay.
I'll
No,
wait.
please go.
Okay.
I'm getting. You need to go.
Okay. So so you have your lucky placement. Okay, everyone has like somewhere that they're lucky. Yours is in your second house of not only money but also like self-worth, and it's ruled by Aries. And so when you were talking about that this Ned is an Aries, that yeah, even if you just kind of look at, like, read a book on him or maybe just get some information.
He's on Wikipedia.
How
I
did
feel
he die,
like
by the way?
He did. We
No,
don't
I mean-
know.
oh.
I haven't looked that up.
but maybe
feel-
there's some gold nuggets there. I do
Oh.
feel like there's a connection there because it is connected to your lucky
You
placement.
said golden nuggets?
Like some gold nuggets. Like if you were to read,
I know
like
exactly where I'm going right after this.
The golden nugget. There you go. You know, and maybe collaborations with others too. That's where the George Knapp thing comes in. It's going to lead you down the rabbit hole. Do not be afraid, but you really need to start taking those steps forward because we need you.
Yeah, well, don't threaten me with a good time. I invented rabbit hole. Like, I go there every day.
Welcome to my world.
Well, John was saying he did something with them. He exposed the mom. Is that what you're saying, John?
Yeah, by any chance, you know Dave Cavassier?
I do.
All right.
Not like well.
You need to talk to Dave Cavassier because Dave did a session on News 3 about Ned and his whole life and his death.
Oh,
Oh.
And I feel a lot of cigarette
Yeah.
smoke around him.
And tell Dave that I told you to call him about this.
He's
So
your
there.
guide.
Okay.
He's your guide, and he is a force to be reckoned with.
Well, I mean, maybe that's something to do with the mom museum. I mean, like, I keep mentioning that, but I mean, you
okay.
brought down mobsters.
So before I turn cards over for you, I got to tell you something. So while my two fabulous cohorts here were talking, the word vortex came in my head.
Interesting.
And then the word Vegas vortex came in my head. And then the word Doria's Vegas vortex came in my head. And I'm getting goosebumps telling you this because all you would have to do is get a friend, have you be videoed at Valley of Fire, at the commercial center where we're going to be having our show because the energy there is incredibly intense. It could be that you go down to Lake Mead. It could be that you go to the Mob Museum. You might start at the Mob Museum, and the Mob Museum might actually sponsor you to do Doria's Vegas vortexes. And so what you do is a series of places, and it would be very easy for you to create a website and put your filmings, and each segment would be 10 minutes. Each segment would be your overview or your vibe of these places. And it could must-see Vegas vortexes. So you could even start at the stratosphere because that was a nightmare. I mean, think about how that all happened.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted him to build that.
You know how they got it? They moved across the street where the city allowed that.
Okay, see, he knows
See, you
this.
know this
Yeah.
already.
See,
The Flamingo Hotel.
well, but again, you know, you can actually go to all the different places that have history, like the Fontainebleau. What a shit show that was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse my French, but you know, I'm saying it's like the way I see you is that you become the Vegas expert for places that have a vibe to them.
All right.
A metaphysical vibe.
Well, we could even call it
Vegas vibes.
the vortex vibe
There's a lot of V's in there.
or Las Vibe-ish. No, last
Well,
five.
so I write music too. So I just wrote a song. Well, it's just released it. It's called Vibes on Vibes. So I don't know. There's a lot of vibes going on.
Stop it.
I'm
Okay.
not kidding.
Okay, Vibes on Vibes could be the show open for your little TikTok, Instagram
YouTube.
series.
I'm seeing
your
YouTube.
series. Okay, you already have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, it's monetized too. Thanks to Kelly Clarkson. Don't even ask.
Go baby. Okay, but now if you turn it into, the sacred spaces of Vegas or the Vegas vortexes, because what I keep getting is that, you've got this commanding presence about you. People like you when they meet you. They want to be around you because they know shit's going to happen around you. I'm sorry, I used the dirty brown word again, but I don't usually cuss on this program. But the thing is that I actually think that you've been spinning in place and vacillating for too long, and it's time to put yourself in any direction. It doesn't matter because you're not going to make a mistake. So now I'm going to turn your cards over.
Oh, God.
But while they were talking, I was like, I really had to bite my tongue because I kept getting Doria's Vegas vortexes.
What about?
Okay, so the card that's on the bottom of your that I cut to, and I think John can zoom in on the card. So the card that I cut to is a card called the Master. All right, it is the most powerful card in the whole deck. You every day create your reality, and your reality is spirit guided. Okay, now I always look at the cards I cut to before I actually shuffle the cards, but the fact I cut to that card for you is pretty huge. Okay, so I'm just going to clear the cards really quick. Now the funny thing is what if it comes up again in the 5 cards I draw for you?
Even better.
Even better. But and even if it doesn't, you were supposed to be recognizing the fact that you are being spiritually guided right now, and your potential is so huge that we can't put a picture on the card. Now I got to say something else. About your personality. You're around a lot of people, but you don't really like a lot of people. and
you just blew my cover.
yeah,
I don't trust a lot of people, and I don't necessarily. It's not that it might take a little bit more investigating, but at first pass, I always question their authenticity and their motive.
Right. Well, it took you 15 years to come to see me for a reading.
Yeah. Well,
and it wasn't because. I think that when you came to see me the first time, you said, I knew from the minute I met you, you were the real deal.
Yeah, totally.
But it took you 15 years.
Well, you know what I mean? Because you kind of go through, and you're kind of finding yourself. I mean, I moved here when I was 30. I'm now 35. No, I'm just kidding. I'm almost 50. You know what I mean? So that's crazy that kind of time flies. But it's Vegas has a different kind of people, right? It's not bad or good. It's just that I'm from the East Coast. I come out here, so I'm a little bit, like a fish out of water, so to speak. But there's out here, I think you could find it more where, like, if you're looking for the wrong thing, or like there's tendency for people to go wrong, you're going to find that out here.
Right.
So I just try and stay clear of that, because I just don't want that. I'm a karmic, by the way. My karmic number is 16. I have 16 debt. So I'm trying to clear karma. I'm not trying to bring more to me.
Okay. So the base of your reading is this card of huge, huge potential, that your next 5 years could set the tone for you, that you wouldn't actually have to work after 5 years from now. So you're on this 5-year mission, or this 5-year plan to develop something where you get to do what gives you joy. But it's a deep dive into what you love the most, and that's where it starts. But you don't have to follow anybody else's rules to do it. You do it your way. So when this card, which is totally black, comes up, it actually is like trying to take a picture of an elephant from an inch away with a Polaroid camera. When you develop the film, you have no idea. You just took a picture of an elephant. All right. When you get the card up right, there's this protocol that you have to follow other people's rules to get there. But you have it reversed, which means it's you following your rules to get there. And that the people around you that you're acquainted with, there are people that you're going to allow, 3 people, you're going to allow 3 people closer to you. And those 3 people are going to lead you to this huge card of success with an offer coming to you. So you would be the person that after you put out 6 episodes of the Vegas Vortex, right? Or Doria's Vegas Vortex, or Doria finds vortexes, whatever. And I get your last name connected with this, not necessarily your first name. But what it's interesting is that when it does get picked up, like these ladies we're talking about, is that when it gets picked up, then it's going to be you going to other cities, not just Vegas. So I see you in San Francisco, I see you in Atlanta, I see you in Florida.
Oh God.
Okay, but with the Florida, it's a whole different vibe because you're going there as a intuitive viewer in a way. So, but there's a huge card of celebration that happens if you act on this within the next 6 months.
But I love these cards.
Yeah,
The courage to tune into your gifts.
right.
Well, and it's something that you sort of struggle with because it's not like I don't do it full time, right? Like I can read somebody's cards, but like kind of off and on. But I feel like I'm always taking in information instead of giving it out. I do feel like I'm at the point now where I'm older, wiser, so I need to start pushing it out there more. It's just finding that medium to do it.
But you do it for you.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the number 16. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 is that lucky number. 7 is the Vegas sign.
My life path.
It's
Yeah.
also the ultimate political number.
Oh.
Gosh.
Dun,
Ruled by
dun.
Libra.
Yeah, ruled
My
by
license
Libra.
plate, no joke, before I moved back, I got the same license plate because I wanted it so bad. It's 777 MO3. It looks like a B. I'm like, is that God of the mob? Like, isn't that crazy? So I kept the license plate when I moved. I moved back. I'm like, can I please have this again? They're like, yes.
Okay, so 777 adds up to 21. 2 and 1 equals 3.
Mhm.
3 is the mind, body, spirit number. So the 3 sevens together, it's very Vegas-y, but the number 21 in tarot is the best card in the deck. It's called the world.
Yeah.
You know that.
Mhm.
So you're basically ruling your world.
And you were talking about him collaborating with 3.
Yes.
So there's that 3 number again.
Well, you guys are my producers. Ready?
So funny.
It's your own
Well, and I
fault.
also want you to buy eucalyptus, fresh eucalyptus.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in your shower, and every night before you go to bed, just let that, because you're a Pisces, right? I
Mhm.
heard that earlier. Water is very transmutative for you, and it will wash all that spiritual grime off of your body. Eucalyptus magnifies it, and it opens up your mind, body, and spirit. Breathe it in, and you don't have to wash or anything. Just let it flow over you, and imagine what isn't serving you just being washed off into the drain, and let Mother Earth take it away.
All right.
I'm going to add something too. You don't have any earth in your chart.
None.
What?
Yeah. And so
No grounding.
exactly.
So I make my own rules. I'm like, what do I know?
I was going to recommend along with, like releasing, just the fragments from your day, but also whenever you can do some kind of grounding kind of ritual, even if it's just a few minutes, but maybe walking outside, seeing if you can put your bare feet on the ground.
You know how hot it is out there right now?
Well, I don't know. Y'all don't have grass here, huh? Yeah.
Well, you know what? I know why you have no earth, because you're like me. I have a tattoo that says I'm not from here.
You come again another planet. I feel that way all the time.
Truly, this is why that niche is so important. This is aliens, UFOs, UAPs, orbs, things that are not of the norm.
What about
You're not
angels?
from here.
Mhm.
Angels as well.
Your placement, definitely.
angels are free
Paranormal and the
will.
angels for sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you have to call on them and ask for their help, their free will, and we forget that.
Well, so you talk about projects, and so I do music, right? And I never intend music to go anywhere. It's just for a hobby, right? But I put it out there.
Yeah.
But over the course starting my spiritual journey, like years ago, I had this idea for a book, and I just sat on it and sat on it and sat on it, and I wrote 2 books. And I'm like, so this year I go to the bar every night, not every night, like once or twice a week at karaoke and waiting to sing. I'd write the book. Well, I just finished it, but the book is about angels, but like it's very sci-fi, it's very fantasy. But I keep getting the feeling like that's not what I should be doing, even though it makes me happy. And I'm like, but I don't understand why I can't. Is there a reason why I couldn't just do it? Like, even though maybe not expecting it to go anywhere, but it's.
So
You get what I'm saying?
I think because you're not going up to your higher consciousness. There's a place, and I'm actually going on a retreat September 6th through the 12th, called the Monroe Institute. And it's called the Gateway Experience. And what they use are frequencies, and you're into music, where it takes both, it's called a hemi-sync, and it puts different tones on different sides of your right brain, left brain, and it helps you through these different frequencies and these different modalities, how to go up to that higher consciousness. I think it's something that you can blend all of this together. There's a reason why this hobby is such a passion for you.
Well,
You're not from here.
I know. which is my home planet, and I'm just kidding. I mean, that makes sense. It makes total sense. And it's funny you guys mentioned the TV thing, because I don't even know if I want to say this, but like, I'll just hint around it. I was doing my Enneagram chart. You guys heard of that? So I did it like years ago, and I was 279 were my top three. Well, my birthday is 27th, right? 7 and 2 is 9. Interesting. Well, now it comes back that I'm not a 279 anymore. I'm a 4, and then a 7, and then a 1. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So it changed a little bit. So
There's the 3 again.
oh yeah, 4, 7, and 1.
Add it up.
12. Yeah, there you go.
1 and 2 is 3.
Yeah. Well, so and it's the
7, 7,
reformer,
7.
the enthusiast,
What do you
and
want?
the individualist. So I couldn't quite figure out what that means, because the other one that was in there was the peacemaker, and that one kind of got bumped down. So I'm like, I don't know what I am anymore.
Okay, I got to have Chris tell you one more thing, because it's overwhelming. If you could have him carry one stone in his pocket, what stone would that be that would be the most grounding and protective? Would that be the bloodstone or a different stone?
Definitely bloodstone for protection, but smoky quartz.
Okay, so if he were to carry like a smoky quartz crystal in his pocket
It'd be very grounding.
and also put one in your car.
May I add to that?
Yeah, of course.
Because you're not from here. Ventrifax are really good.
No idea what that is.
Anything a ventrifact, we'll look it up because it's very cool.
Okay.
But it's more alienish.
Are you telling me that I'm an alien? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, you're not from here, my darling. You're
Oh.
like me. We're from another dimension, space and time. It's hard to navigate this gravity and this earth. We're different. So embrace viva la difference. But I want you, what are the those things that fall from the sky that
Rain.
Meteors.
meteors? Yeah, rain,
Lightning bolts.
lightning bolts, meteors, rocks that are meteors.
The Moldavite.
Moldavite,
Oh,
Agni
yes.
Magni, those kinds of things would really amplify that alien DNA in you.
Yeah, but
Bird drum.
I'm gonna have to say, with that placement in your 8th house, you'd have to, I think, work your way up with the Moldavite. Very small piece, because
Agree.
if he's
You're right.
very
You're not from
intense
here.
for you.
It's like what I tell people when they want to wear a Herkimer diamond, that they need to bury that in salt for at least a week, because Herkimer diamonds, if you don't know where they came and you don't cleanse them, you actually end up being influenced by whatever the Herkimer diamond was exposed to before. So
Very good advice.
So I'm just saying, I love Herkimer diamonds
Mhm.
because when I have intention for something, I take a Herkimer diamond and I put it in an envelope with the thing that I want to have happen, and I seal the envelope and
Oh
I
my
put it on my
gosh.
altar.
I'm gonna reactivate this. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
so here's the thing is that I remember once that I really wanted somebody to get in touch with me, and I had a falling out with this person, and it was over some weird misunderstanding that anyway. So what I did is I found a coin that was his birthday. Now it happened to be a silver coin because he was born before 1964. And I put it in a little box with a Herkimer diamond, and I just let it sit there. Basically, I was turning it over to Spirit, and about 3 months later, he called me out of the blue for a reading.
I'm gonna try that. That is beautiful. And
It's
brilliant.
and it's healing, because it's like you're sending good vibes to them. If it's meant to be, I'm gonna give you something very precious next to your birth year, and a coin works great because it's like, and this one happened to be a silver coin because he was born before 1964. So anyway, so that works. But hey, we could talk to you for hours because we're really enjoying you, but we're
No, you
kind of.
You're my people.
But John's telling us we can't. So we're gonna.
John.
He's cracking the whip, man. So 2 big announcements. First of all, thank you so much for being a part of
Thank
our
you.
program.
Thank you.
I hope we can have you back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gave me a lot of things to do and think about. So
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, may I say one more thing?
Yeah,
And I'll
absolutely.
hurry. So you talk about angels. Those angels appear to you because I think you would kind of be a little bit thrown back by what they really look like.
I hear they're just like light. It's just a lot of. They're not like.
It
human-
is.
Not like we see them with wings and everything.
It's
just-
almost, yes, translucent-ish.
Yeah.
But I want you to embrace that because that's your soul family. They're not really angels, but they are from other beings from other dimensions, space, and time. There's a movie called Midnight Special I would love for you to watch. It's not the movie itself, but it's the end. And when you watch it, you're going to be like, oh, now I understand why I feel this way and where I come from.
All
There's
right.
a book called UFO God by Christopher Bledsoe. Christopher Bledsoe and Danny Jones on YouTube. Please take a look at that. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is my path forward. And I'm gonna leave you with that.
All right, you guys, running out of time.
I
man.
know, we
Like
could
said,
talk to
we
you
could
for
talk all
hours.
afternoon. Again, thank you for being a part of our program.
you.
Thank you to Chris, our master
Thank you.
astrologer. Thank you to Rainey, our intuitive
you.
medium, and me, I'm your tarot consultant. Remember, 2 big announcements for the month of October. Our live show at the Composers Room, October 12th. It's a 3 p.m. show. It's the show before the show. So you come to us, then you go have your cocktails, then you go see Cirque du Soleil or something like that. But the show you're going to remember is the one that you see at the Composers Room called 3. with
Could
the
change
3
your
of us.
life.
Could change your life. And then the second thing is the 8th annual Night of the Witches, nightofthewitches.com. It benefits Help Us Southern Nevada, and you get to visit with us at this particular charity event. So mark your calendars. Thank you again, Mike, for being a part of our program. Chris, Rainey, love you guys.
Love you.
And we'll see you next time.
God bless.